do not sleep on this golf course. This is one of the coolest layouts you'll play. You'll hit short irons, long irons, drivers, everything. You'll see that it goes left to right, right to left. There's some short holes, long holes. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit of everything, but it's gonna be on the easier side. You should be able to come off of this 18 holes feeling good. But off the bat, it starts off with a very simple par 5. As you can see, there's those 2 bunkers, and those are going to be your, depending on your handicap and how long you are, but if you're single digit, usually you're going to want to hit a draw off of or blast it right over that left bunker. All par 5s here are reachable in 2, but this one here, you know, if you blast it over that left bunker, you're good. Shorter hitters hit to that right bunker. Even if you push it off the tee, it opens up a little bit to the other to the 9 on the other side, but then you'll just be left with a short layup to, I would say, right before that particular cart path there. I've seen it hit past the cart path and go into one of those bunkers, but if you go just over that cart path or right before, you're still left with a short iron, usually a wedge. From there, it's about 100 and maybe 20 yards to the green, which is quite simple, but it does slope from right to left. So if that pin's on the right, just aim for the middle of the green. But if that pin's in the front, you definitely want to go after it. But right before that bunker right there is probably the easiest up and down you can get there. So pretty easy hole to start. Now you do go from one of the easier holes to one of the harder holes. This is a lengthy one. You're gonna have to hit a really good tee shot. Most people will aim to that right bunker with a slight draw, or off the left bunker with a fade, but you really do have to get it out there as far as possible. Do not lay up with an iron of any kind, just because you're going to be left with quite a long shot in. Even behind that bunker on the right, you're still about 168 yards to this green. That is not that easy. It has that bunker in front of it, but just aim to the middle of the screen, you're fine. But usually if you're hitting a draw off the tee and in the fairway, you should have a mid iron in. Hole 3 shouldn't be too tough. Yeah, the course condition is not in the best shape at this moment that I'm recording this, but it's usually, you know, pretty playable. And it's quite cheap, by the way. But you're gonna want to hit to that right bunker with about a 245 yard shot if you can up there. Everything is a little bit uphill, especially your second shot. This is a second shot hole. You're always going to want to aim to the middle of this green just because it is elevated, and all around this green is a false front. So if that pin's on the back left, try not to overdraw it to it because it's going to roll off, and then if the greens are quick, it's going to be hard to get up and down. First, part 3. It is going to be quite short because it is severely downhill. I wanted to get a longer aerial view here. As you can see, it's only going to be a wedge, a 9 iron at most from the back, because it's only about 140 something yards, but it is downhill, but it can be windy here, so you always want to make sure you take a little bit less club if you can and just punch it. Now, hole 5, it is one of the funnest holes because, as you can see, it's a dogleg left. Your view, if you're aggressive, is to go over that left bunker. If you draw it, you're in deep hell there. So you always want to hit it over that left bunker in the middle of those 2 bunkers. Then you're left with a quick little 9 iron or pitching wedge into this green. But the green is large, so pay attention to the pin position. If it's in the back, there is a swell you want to get through, or else it's going to be a hard putt. So this one you want to play to the yardage if you can. Hole 6 is not easy off the tee. There is championship tees on the right side of this, so you're going over the water. But if not, it's a pretty easy tee shot. It's short, so you see that bunker on the left. You're going to want to hit a fade off of that bunker or a draw off the right side. But as you can see, there's some waste area on the right, so you definitely want to steer left of this. And usually the pin is in the middle, in the middle back. You're going to want to be on the left side of this fairway to have a better angle, because that bunker comes into play quite quickly. But this one is also quite long, so you want to play to the exact yardage, or else you're left with a real diabolical putt one way or the other. Hole 7 is not an easy par 3, because from the tips you're looking at about 190 something yards, and from the front it's still about 168 yards or so. So this one is a large green, so that is the biggest challenge. Is not only is it into the wind, but that green is not easy, so hit to the middle. Hole 8, that bunker on the right side is your target, because I've seen many people just pull it off the tee into that water, and that water comes in very, very quickly, as you can see. Even with a hybrid, it'll come in if you hook it. So the goal is, if you're right before that, or right before that first bunker, you're still left only with a wedge in. So it is a much shorter hole than it feels like, but then you're going right to the middle of the screen if you can. Unless that pin's in the front, then you definitely want to be aggressive to that pin. Now you do end with a fairly difficult 9th hole, just because of its length, and the second shot that you're coming in with is over a bunker usually. So you're definitely going to want to blast it to that right bunker with a slight draw, but you don't want to pull it here, so you want to err to the right side, just because you're going to be in back of those trees, or that's a big slope on the left. So you want to stay on the right side, but even if you hit it right before that right bunker, you're still left with a 160 to 170 yard shot. So this one off the tee is paramount to hit that fairway. And the same thing with this green, you do not want to pull anything left, as you are in a deep one there. So air to the right, but this is also a very large green, so it's if it's on that left side, you want to hit to that yardage, because even from the middle of the green, it's not going to be an easy putt coming one way or the other. Hole 10, very much just like hole 1. It's still dogleg left, so this one is the exact same strategy, which is blasting it over that left bunker if you can. If not, aiming to the right. And it's almost the same exact hole. So laying up is easy, just because it's a shorter hole. So it's the left bunker this time that you're going to want to aim for, just because of the angle that you have coming into this green. But this green is a bit bigger and sloping from back to front, as the first one isn't as severe. So if that pin's in the back, definitely hit to the middle of the green. If that pin's in the front, definitely you can still go to the middle of the green and back to the front. It's not that severe. It's just when it's in the rear that it could be a bit daunting. Is it gives most people fits off the tee, just because, as you can see, there's that waste area to the left and there's trees to the right. If you push it too far, you're going to be in that berm over there all the way to the right. So it's a little larger than it seems off the tee, so aim at that right bunker. You're not going to get there, it's quite far, but it's a very straightforward hole. Sometimes straighter holes are the hardest ones for some people, but this is probably the most straightforward hole you can get on the course. So pretty simple to the middle of the green, nothing special here. 12. 12 is one that is tricky just because you see that bunker on the right. It actually is your target if you can get right over that bunker. It's not that far to fly it, but if you're nervous of it, just stay left. But if you go too far left, you're blocked by that tree there. So blast it over that bunker. There's not much rough to the right, but it is on the left side. You'll have water there. So you're going to air to the right of this green, but it is a large green with a huge lump in the middle of it. So aim to the middle of the green and you should be fine. The 13 now, this is where it gets really fun. This is one of the funnest, and that is a word, funnest holes you can get on this course. Okay, so it looks a little rough right now, but believe me, it's a great time because it is a reachable par 5, but the second shot is over water. So it depends on your tee shot here. You don't want to lay up. You want to go after it because you could have a second shot into this par 5. So it's definitely a birdie hole, but aim at that bunker with a draw. If you're parallel to that bunker, you're about 200 and maybe 20 yards in. So you're left with a 4-iron or a hybrid in. If you pass that bunker, you're left with an iron in, maybe 200 yards from here. But you're going to have to hit a high draw over that water. So you're really, if you push it to the right, you're safe over that bunker you see on the right side. But you're going to have to hit a high draw to get in there. If not, just hit short of that bunker on the right, and you're left with a wedge to the green. 14. Even if you're hitting from the blues or the whites, you're going to want to come all the way to the top here. As you can see, there's like a secret little tee box up there. It's a very, very cool hole to tee off from up there. Makes it very different. So if you have time and there's no one behind you, definitely want to hit a ball from up there. But if not, pretty straightforward par 3. But if you push it, you're in trouble because it hits that cart path quite often. It goes into those rocks, so try to hit to the middle of the green if possible. 15 is a risk reward. I will always lay up about a 200-yard shot. You're left with a little wedge in, but this is a reachable par 4 because it's only about, I would say, 280 something yards to the front of that green. But if you pull it, as you can see, there's water, or if you push it, there's that bunker and bad stuff on the right. So 200-yard shot into this green, you're fine. But the green does slope, there's a ridge right in the middle of it. So hit to the front or hit to the back, wherever that pin is. Hole 16, man, this one I've seen more double bogeys here than most holes, just because you see that green to the right. Don't try to drive it because there is really rough on the right side of that cart path. And don't even look at that bunker on the left side. Just go right down the middle of this particular fairway. Don't try to hit a high fade or anything like that. It's just a 230-yard shot or so from the tips, maybe 200-yard shot from the whites, right to the middle of this fairway. Because then at least you could see the green. But the green is severe slope from back to front, so you definitely want to be below the hole here so you don't have a diabolical putt coming back. 17 is not an easy par 3 because of the optics. You can see the water come into play, and these are some high brush. You have high brush there in front. So when you're down there, you can't even see the pin sometimes of how high that brush is. So it looks quite daunting. And of course, there's a bunker on the left and water on the right. So you have to just get up and hit a really good shot. If you are playing for money or anything else, you want to just be short of that bunker. Anything short of this green is an easier up and down. You don't want to go pin high because you're in trouble. And 18, of course, it is a very difficult par 4 because of the length. You're going to want to hit as hard as you can to that bunker on that right side. Most players won't be able to catch that bunker. If you're a longer player, then you're going to want to draw it over that bunker. But as you can see on the left side, it's trouble. Right side, you're going to be laying up. It's a par 4. So most people are gonna be about 190 yards or so into this green, or sometimes 200 if you don't hit the tee shot well. But if you hit it, you're still probably left with a 168, 170 yard shot over this water. Hard to see that pin, especially it's in the back. So it takes a serious second shot to get into this. So this is very similar to 9, as it's long and hard to hit, but it is a very, very challenging 18 hole. Just anything right of this is trouble. So air on the left side, but that green is large, so you want to hit to the exact yardage. Hope that helps.